The next inductee is Dr. Art Williams, Jr., class of 1965, honored for outstanding achievement for humanitarian service. Throughout his career, Williams had demonstrated ambitious standards of teaching, quantifiable professional accomplishments, and leadership in both academics and community. He received his undergraduate degree in sociology from Langston University, a master's in social work from the University of Kansas, and a PhD in human services from Walder University. He served in the U.S. Army's 3rd Infantry Division during the Vietnam War era. Due to his military experience, he collaborated with veterans to secure service-related disability benefits. He taught at Langston for more than 30 years, receiving the Outstanding Professor Award for dedicated services and quality of teaching. In 1999, as an educator, he also implemented African American history and race relationship scholarships and veterans programs. He has served as executive director for Metropolitan Tulsa Substance Abuse Services, Inc. He was instrumental in developing a comprehensive inpatient and outpatient substance abuse clinic for treatment. He was the first to bring a drug court program to Tulsa that serves as an alternative to prison. He also worked to bring the first HIV outreach and testing program to Tulsa County. He spearheaded the revitalization of the historic Greenwood District by securing funding to provide upkeep to the historic buildings. And if many of you don't know, my office is down on that Greenwood. So thank you, Mr. Williams. So I'm honored to award this 2020 inductee to Dr. Art Williams.
Well. Good evening. I was outside earlier, and I was, when you get old, you kind of don't remember a lot of stuff. So I was outside, and I spoke to somebody, and I asked somebody next to me, who in the hell was it? You know, so those issues stand out, but the reason I'm here is because I stood on the shoulders of great people. I'd like to recognize my wife, Joyce. Where is she? Will she stand up? Will you please stand up and cooperate? Okay, thank you. But it's been a great experience, and I'd like to thank I thought they made a mistake when they honored me, but I stand on the shoulders of great people. One of those great people was Reuben Mims. He used to whoop my ass every day at Dunbar. And he called it ice cream and cake. So every time he whooped my ass, he said, this is ice cream and cake. I left Dunbar and went to Bunch, and I ran into a lady named Frances Harrison. And she said, Art, if you flunk another spelling test, I'm going to whoop your ass too. I ended up the best speller in that class. I left there and went to Carver, and then I went to Marian Anderson and Jesse Gradington. Now, any people know him, they call him Blue Jesus. Very stern, very involved, this and that and the other. Then I left there and went to Booker T. And anybody knows Art S. Williams Sr., whew! My sisters, he used to whip me so bad my sisters cried, and they over there. They over there. But I left there and a pretty good athlete. I got a basketball scholarship, 65, to Central State in Ohio. But then, okay. But I also ran into Thunderbird wine. Thunderbird wine. So I came back to Langston University and made the team, and then I ran into Shake 'em Up. If anybody in the community knows about Shake 'em Up, you put Kool-Aid in white port. You know, white port. Okay, you remember that? He remembers that. So those were some of the issues, and I got a scholarship left, and I went to Langston University, and I ran into a guy named Dr. John Coleman. He said, Art, if you come to class sometime, I won't flunk you. He flunked me. He flunked me. And then later on, I ran into another guy named Dr. Ernest Holloway. Legendary Dr. Ernest Holloway. In those days, most people in my era were drafted. I was drafted straight out of school. Went to the 3rd Infantry Division, ended up at Fort Polk, spent 10 weeks in Tigerland. It was built just like Vietnam, with the snakes, the alligators, the mosquitoes, and the swamps. Those were issues that put me in a great perspective in terms of being successful. But I stand on the shoulders of these great people. That's why I'm here. These people thought enough of me, even though I had issues. Maybe that's why I became a PhD shrink, maybe work some of my own stuff out. But it's a pleasure, and I want to thank Mike Mims. I don't know where he went. Where's Mike? Mike, stand up. I don't think Mike Mims gets the credit he deserves. Let's give Mike a hand. Mike was the captain on our '64 championship basketball team. That team was comprised of Nate Harris, Sylvester Stevenson, Eugene Ferguson. So we had a pretty good team in that process. But the military changed my perspective about life in terms of living and dying. In the process, we lost so many young black men in that area. In '67, they had a thing to recruit 100,000 draftees. Over 50% of those were black men. Black men did more combat service in Vietnam than any other group. Vietnam was basically the only time we had an integrated army. Black people has always been faithful to the Army. It goes back to Crispus Attucks, the Revolutionary War, the Harlem Hell Rangers, World War I, and World War II and III. So I'm very proud to be here. My family has been very proactive. My sisters are over here, but they're so shy they won't say nothing. But it's been a pleasure to do stuff in the community. We brought, one of the things we tried to do is bring some drug court here so less black people go to penitentiary. They were putting black people in crack, putting all the black people in penitentiary, and then I kind of caught hell, and Joyce knows about that. I brought an HIV testing program here, and then the state cut my money. I was trying to do something in terms of preserving some life and trying to keep the African-American family together. So that's what I was trying to do, this and that and other with these programs. But it's a pleasure to be here tonight. But the support I've gotten so far is unbelievable. And I'd like to thank Miss Dr. Wimberly. And Dr. Wimberly has been in my life, we won't talk about how many years. But she's done a great job. Rebecca's done a great job in terms of this process. So I want to thank you and have a great day.